ourselves the additional question. How much energy does someone need for the bicycle pump? Because we are not looking just at a bicycle pump, but we are looking at a bicycle pump that is going to be used by an HIV/AIDS weekend person, for example. All right? So everything that we do is really embedded within the context of the situation that we are considering. All right. So how do we take it from there? I'll now go over very quickly in terms of the intervention strategy workshop, our structure. The ISW, as we call it, is really our first entry into the resilience intervention space on our circle or our framework. All right? So it's a very, very critical stage, and as I have been appealing to some of you, and I'll appeal to all of you, we really need you here for the 3 days. So I know some of you may have to step out every now and then, but we really, really need you in the room, because this is so critical to what happens downstream. This is the very first stage. Essentially what it is that we're taking what we know from the community, either through the community consultations, and you have a briefing document in your folders, or from your own experiences and expertise. So we have those two streams coming in, and we seek to transform them into highly effective areas for intervention in order to really strengthen the resilience in the communities. So as noted there, the ISW is the critical bridge between understanding resilience and the type of intervention areas we should be focusing on. And so very, very critical to the ISW is, of course, the participants, i.e. yourselves who are here, okay? So you are carefully selected, all right? One, for what you bring to the table, but two, for the synergies that we expect as you interact. And so that's why we had in the beginning, as we were seated, we were trying to encourage the mixing in certain ways, so that really we really bring out as much synergy as we can from you who are here. 95% of the work is going to be done in small groups. Okay, so that means also if you're not around, you have a significant impact on the group that you will have left. I hope I have made you feel guilty enough, because that's the objective. But anyway, it's group work. We do a lot of work on the walls, and so we're very happy that the hotel has given us plenty of wall space. It's very, very engaging, very, very interactive, but we hope that it's also a very creative process for yourselves, and that the outcome of these 3 days is also something that you can use to reflect back on your activities when you're back in your home organization. So it's not only something that we expect the Somalia team will benefit from, but it's our expectation that even your own work will be enriched through this engagement. And as far as we are concerned, the right people in the room are here. Okay? And these are the people we wanted to have in the room. So it's not by accident that you're here. The tools, it's a very structured process, and I really ask you to bear with us. We'll be pushing you around and asking you a lot of things, and there are things I want to take note of the table. Is this? We like color, and I know color, both men and women like color, so we've catered for color. Focus on these issues, okay? So if something is wrong, it's wrong. We are not interested in discussing the degree of wrongness about that thing. It is wrong, it is wrong. If something is right, it is right, okay? We have processes along the way that will help us, figure all those processes out. But if you find yourself in a discussion and you're really discussing the wrongness or the rightness of something, it's time to move on to the next thing we should be discussing. Okay? So time is very, very critical. The other thing that I want to flag is, Joan, can you just wave so that everyone, Plus she has the red laptop, so she's at the back there. Now, Joan is our timekeeper, and we have a very intrusive way of noting time. In other words, there will be an alarm that goes off. And she's going to let the alarm keep going until she feels she's captured our attention. She typically uses very irritating sounds, so the sooner we can acknowledge that we have recognized her in terms of time, the sooner she will turn down that noise. So I'm just alerting you, have the briefing paper, and Mohammed has given us really a good level of what it is that we have to entail. Most critically, we are relying on what you come with to the room. Okay, so yes, please look at what has come out through the consultations, all right? But please bring yourselves as well into the room. You're here very purposely for that, okay? All right, and how does this work? Like I said, basically your role over these 3 days is determining the innovations agenda for RAN in Somalia, okay? And like I said, one of our objectives, our third objective, is to share everything that we have. So our expectation is that what will come out of here, yes, we shall support some proposals, some projects out of this, but we shall also share these intervention areas publicly. So if other people are looking for doing stuff in Somalia in this space, they'll also have access to that same knowledge, all right? So it's very critical that you understand that you are the first point in terms of defining our innovations agenda. And so what has already happened is that we had the community consultations, which led to the resilience dimensions, as you've seen, and what our output is the intervention pathways. That's what we're looking to get. And just by way of example, when we did in East Africa the challenge around the climate effect, all right? These came out as some of the dimensions, okay? Agriculture, wealth, and health, okay? So that's what came out as the dimensions. That's what we went into as we went into the intervention strategy workshop. On the other end, after we were done with the ISW workshop, what were some of the key areas people considered? For example, in the area of agriculture, key intervention areas were identified as yields, value addition, water, energy, and human capital, okay? So we expect that even through this process, we shall really come out as specific as we can in terms of what we think people need to be doing. And that's why I said that what you're doing here is not only for the benefit of RAN, but also for you all. So for example, if we have something in agriculture, definitely the SATG, all right, you would be interested to know if there are new learnings that come from this, and we hope that they will be, okay? So then in terms of taking it forward, once we have identified the key areas for intervention, typically we have 3 ways of then proceeding to source for interventions. The first is what we call the Resilience Innovation Acceleration Program. Here what happens is that we will host exhibitions, all right? And the call for exhibitions will be for people who have products or interesting ideas along the lines that would have come out from the ISW, okay? So that's one way of sourcing projects. And to date, we have awarded grants, 5 grants in that category. And there's another one that we are considering for the Horn of Africa, okay? The other way is through what we would call the traditional call for proposals, okay? Which is the Open Resilience Innovation Challenge. And challenges is quite a big way now. Everyone is doing it. We have the Ebola Challenge, Save the Children Challenge. So that's another of the ways that we use for putting out calls for projects. And currently we have 13 projects either awarded or in final stages of review, right? Then the last stage is the Collaborative Resilience Innovation Design, which is the process that we are going to use for Somalia, that once we are done with the ISW, we'll have a 2-day workshop where we have some of you and also new thinking coming into the room, where we start to craft the beginnings of the kind of projects that we would like to have, addressing what would have been the outputs of the intervention strategy workshop. And currently, we have 7 projects already being considered under this type of sourcing. Okay. All right. So in terms of the workshop itself, we will try to move very fast, and I've mentioned the issue about time. We ask you to trust us, because oftentimes the issue is like, okay, why are we doing this? So please, we will try to explain as we can, but we may not explain to the breadth of everyone's understanding, but we ask you to trust that this is a process that we've gone through a number of times. I think this is the 5th or the 6th. Yeah, this is the 6th time we are actually using this methodology, so we believe it works. Some of it may be new for some of you, so please, you will learn it as you do it and trust us that it works. Think in the spirit of exploring something new. So like I said, when you find yourself debating the wrongness or the rightness of one point, that is an opportunity you are losing to think about another point. So think in the spirit of exploring new things, as many as you can think of. Like I said, we have this. We use this a lot, and we have plenty of it. My worry when I was coming over, because I'm based at Makerere University in Kampala, my worry when I was coming over was whether the Kenyan authorities would not accuse me of importing stationery into Kenya. Because I came with everything I needed, and I have stacks and stacks of this. So this is not a limitation. So please, as many ideas, as many things. If you've been at your desk and you've wanted to do something, and you're like, that is too wild, let's write it down here, all right? Because, yeah, we're not going to implement everything that's here, but let's know all these wild ideas, because maybe someone somewhere may have a solution for what we currently think as being wild. So think in the spirit of exploring something new, generate as many, many options. There are enough opportunities within the event itself where we shall narrow down, okay? Because naturally all of us are from organizations, even at a family level, all right? Even at an individual level. There are very many things you want, but they're only a subset of that that you get. Yeah, so the workshop itself is also designed to give us opportunities to think wild and then narrow down. Think wild and then narrow down. So don't worry about that, it's all embedded within, all right? And avoid splitting hairs, like I said, don't discuss the wrongness or the rightness of things or arguing about the best way. That's not our purpose here, okay? Our purpose here is really to get as many, many ideas as we can out of it. Stay engaged, be part of this process. I know that we have put out for you internet access, because these days we are so addicted to internet. So if you don't give people some internet time, you're actually reducing their efficiency, so we appreciate that. But we also ask that you minimize the time that you have to be online. Also, we, in addition to that, and I know Joanne will be putting those ones up, we kindly ask that if you are into